All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, November 23rd edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, and I'll be joined by my co-host here, Big Marcel, in just a moment. He just had to restart his computer, some technical difficulties on his end, but no worries. We'll get him in the chat soon. And like I was saying yesterday, like today is basically just almost like a Q&A session, I would say. We'll take any questions people have today. We'll go over some fight announcements, some news and stuff like that. So like I said, we'll wait for Marcel. We'll go over the fight announcements when Marcel comes in, but might as well just start talking about some news. And I mean, I don't know what to think about this. Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'll just start it off here. Let's throw it up here. Go to BJ Penn. And today, Ben Askren went to Twitter and called out Nate Diaz. Said he would be happy to be the last fight in his UFC contract. I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, honestly, like it's not a fight I ever thought about. And once Ben called him out, I was like, "Hey, that's not too bad of a fight, because Ben could, you guys know how it is. Ben knows how to talk, and he would make any fight kind of interesting, like just like the Masvidal fight and stuff." So here's what Ben said. He said Nate is right because Nate said that Ben sucks at boxing. He said Nate's right. I do suck at boxing. He sucks at MMA. If he wants me to prove it, I can beat him. You saw that tomorrow. I'll be happy to be the last fight in his deal. So it seems like he's interested in the fight. I don't know. I mean, like right now, Ben, I don't know if he's still technically under UFC contract. I guess he would be. I think they let him go to fight in that boxing match. Obviously, he retired. It's just, I feel like the UFC is going to, like we've talked about this already, UFC is going to use Nate Diaz's last fight in the deal to build up a young guy. So, Khamzat makes a lot of sense, right? Because it'd be a fight Khamzat probably wins against Nate, and then he builds his name up. There's just really no upside here for the UFC to do this fight. There he is. Hey, Marcel. How's it going?
Yeah, man.
You there?
That piece of shit camera took my
it's okay. No worries.
I have to explain. They took my other camera, which I also use here, and I did it automatically, and I don't know why, but it works now, man.
No worries. I'm just talking about this. Nate Diaz called up Ben Askren, Ben Askren called Nate Diaz. Any thoughts on that?
Not really, man. It's a retired fighter with a guy who is barely fighting.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go to your page, Marcel. Let's go through some fight announcements and stuff like that because there's been some good fights mentioned lately. Hey, Glenn. Numbers pretty poor pay-per-view. Diaz's last fight, 263, I guess. Yeah, they weren't great. The numbers came up for 268, by the way. I think it was 700,000, Marcel. So it's not bad, but I'm assuming I thought they would expect more for that card,
I think so too, yeah. But
because Dana White was saying, "Oh, we've exceeded all expectations," and he didn't break 1 million. I don't know if that's true. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a good number for this day and age, but let's go to some fight announcements, Marcel. I think you broke this fight today, right?
I did, yeah, last night.
All right, so you got the fight. Talk about it. Chris Curtis, Brendan Allen. It's in 2 weeks, so we'll break down that fight next Tuesday, or I believe it'd be, yeah. But just quick thoughts on this. I mean, it does suck that Brendan's not going to get the original opponent he was supposed to have, and even the replacement. But Chris Curtis is definitely like a capable guy, obviously, as we saw. So I don't know, Marcel. I still feel like Brendan's going to be the favorite in this fight. I really like this guy. Both good fighters, but I think Allen's like the next like big thing in this division. I will say one cool thing is obviously Sean Strickland is Chris Curtis' training partner, right? So he'll be in his corner talking smack to Brendan Allen the whole time, I'm sure. Any thoughts on it?
That's actually the most funny thing, that Strickland will be in Chris Curtis' corner. So we're really looking forward to how Allen gonna reply and how Strickland gonna reply. And it might even be distract him from the fight. You don't even know. Strickland is always very vocal in corners. So, and definitely with Chris Curtis, we saw that before. So, I mean, this is a fun matchup. I think already if Brandon Allen wins this, he's going all over the place, and he's gonna go challenge Strickland for that rematch. He definitely wants. And if he loses this one, Strickland's going to be in his face pretty much like my teammate beat you as well. So it is going to be a fun matchup. I think it stylistically is a fun one. But overall, Allen should normally win this fight if he is on his game, I think.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week, like I said.
Yeah.
We got this one here. I mean, I'm not too excited about this one, I'll be honest with you. We got Jin Frey and Hannah Goldie. Doesn't seem like an exciting fight. I don't know. Any thoughts on it?
I think Jinju Frey has done pretty well after losing two in the first two in the UFC. She came back, wins over Ashley Yoder and Gloria DePaula. For Hannah Goldie, I had her winning against Emily Whitmire, so I wasn't really too surprised with that. But before that, didn't look good against Diana Belbita, and before that, she lost to the girl who's also, I don't know, is she still in the UFC, the CFFC former champion? What's her name again? I forgot. Miranda Granger. So I don't know, man. I was like, she's also from the Contender Series, right? Hannah Goldie, and she didn't get signed off that one, and she got pretty much in the UFC one or 1.5 months after that. So I don't know, man. I feel like it's pretty evenly matched. I didn't know that Goldie wasn't her real last name, so I saw that 3 days ago.
Really?
No, her name is Hannah Goldschmidt.
Oh, I didn't know that. So it's like a nickname almost, Goldie. Yeah. There's this baseball player, Paul Goldschmidt. They call him Goldie, so I guess that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the comments. Someone said that her OnlyFans got leaked, so that's what someone in the comments said.
Yeah, that's true.
Hannah. Oh, really? I didn't even know she had one. I thought she had, I thought she was a mom and
Yeah, she is.
I don't know about that, man. Anyways, I don't want to criticize people. They can.
You know what it is? People always send me those kind of pictures, and I'm like, "Why you send me this?" It's not really that I'm that interested in it.
Yeah, I don't really care either. I as a fighter, that's the only thing I care about with her, honestly. So the next fight here, I think we talked about yesterday really briefly, but we got MMA Asheville in here. What's going on, man? Shavkat, Rakhmonov, and Carlston Harris, 14-0 against 17-4. Like I said, Marcel, I was a little surprised they booked just because Carlton is an older guy, and I feel like he's on his own path up. But it's almost like this division's so stacked, and like they have to fight each other, kind of. What are you gonna say?
I just love the dudes from Guyana. His nickname is Mozambique, and he's training out of Brazil. It's absolutely amazing, And Shavkat, Shavkat, he's great. He's training at Sanford right now, and he looked really good in his two UFC fights so far. So he's actually kind of the guy that I think the let's say the non-casuals have picked up on, and the casuals are still like, who is this dude, And maybe with another win, he can build that. But also with Harris, he's looked good, man. Remember that Dana told him, like, when they signed him on the Dana White looking for a fight. Yeah, normally I'm not really interested in 33-year-olds with a 14-4 record or 15-4 record. I was like, dude, this guy actually fought legit competition. So, I mean, and he defeated Sagit Isagakmayev, I think, one of Khabib's guys. Wasn't supposed to beat that guy, but he beat him. And, he's now in the UFC. It's a fun matchup, man. It's really a fun matchup.
Yeah, I mean, they're both good, right? I think Carlson's just really underrated, man. Like, he's been fighting for a while, too. Like, he beat Michel Pereira in 2015. He's been around for a while. Yeah. And he's on a roll of 5 straight wins by stoppage. Looked great in the UFC. It's just Shavkat does seem like he's on another level right now, 27 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you really pick against the guy? I don't know if you can, right? But I like Carlston, basically.
The funny thing is that...
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
The funny thing is that when Shavkat signed with the UFC, I was like, his stand-up is really good, but I'm not sure about his ground game yet, And then he finishes Michel Prazeres.
Can you do your can you do your Dana White impersonation again? The one where like he's 34 years old. We shouldn't sign. Like, can you do that again? It was funny.
Oh yeah. Oh, like with Carlston Harris, Dana is like after. Yeah, we don't sign guys who are 30 and 4, but that's why you have to build your record, guys. I mean, you got to keep that And then he's like, people. He's always like, you shouldn't build your record against cans, But on the other side, if you have a record for like 12-5, but you fought legit competition, he's like, yeah, we're not normally going to sign you because we're not interested in 12-5. It's like, dude, what do you want?
I know.
Fighters pretty much going to build records because of you saying that kind of stuff, It's like in the Netherlands over here with some fighters, man. They are like, we're going in this, in the Netherlands, pretty much after 20 seconds on the ground to let you stand up. And that's shitty, because you build a record. If you're a good kickboxer, you pretty much can build a record for 10-0 in MMA. You go to the States, you fight a wrestler, you're fucked. You know what I mean? So it's just a bad thing,
By the way, JFM's asking, when are they going to sign that Rysov Yusuf? Any thoughts?
Yeah, he should have been signed like 2-3 years ago, maybe earlier. But I don't know if this is official, but I've heard that the UFC has a certain limit on Russians in the UFC. And I heard that by many people and by people who have actually,
Really?
who are legit sources, that they don't want too many Russians in the UFC, because you see already with the Russians, they're pretty much taking some divisions over, for example, the lightweight division with Islam, with Khabib,
Yeah.
and another Chimaev is actually a Chechen. I know he's fighting out of Sweden, but he's Chechen, so it's like, you got to see it. It's for the American audience, if you have like from your 10 champions, 8 Russian champions, not really appealing, you know what I mean? So this is what I'm hearing. That I hear that for 3 years now already from several sources.
There you go. So there you go. There's a scoop right there, guys. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Just looking at some upcoming fights. You got, this got announced on like short notice, Like, and no one really announced it. It was just kind of like on the TV listings, but it's a rebooking. This was supposed to happen earlier this year. Here's what I'll say about this one.
Nice.
I think I liked Knight when it was supposed to happen earlier this year, and then since then, Menifield, we've seen him a couple times. He's looked great.
Yeah.
So it's like and Knight's looked like he's looked pretty good at times. He got destroyed by Dan Jung, but he looked amazing against Charant. So this is a weird one, Marcel, honestly. Like, I guess I'd have to lean a little towards Menifield. I don't know, man. We got 2 weeks to think about it, I guess. But what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, so Tom Feely, he's telling me like, dude, this is on TV listings, but I don't know if it's still legit, So I asked around and it was on. So it was on. I think it's been booked for some time, but it's just.
But no one reported it. That's so weird to me, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's so surprising.
It's a fun matchup. It should have fought 2 times, man. I remember what was postponed due to COVID, and then after that it got another time. It got canceled, so 2 times this year. An annoying fly over here. So it's a fun matchup, I think, man. It's 2 guys looking like 2 monsters, in the cage. Their physiques. Menifield, I agree with you, man. Menifield was good in this last fight. He showed that he could go 3 rounds against Ed Herman. And people say, Ed Herman, he's a little bit older, but Ed Herman is still tough as nails, And if you don't have the cardio to go 3 rounds with Ed Herman, you're fucked. So he did well. Knight, a good knockout against Fabio Charant, but that was a first round knockout, I think. So I don't know. I kind of lean the same way as you. I kind of lean first. I was like maybe Knight, but now I'm maybe leaning more towards Menifield.
Yeah,
we'll see when it's happening.
It's a weird one, that's for sure. All right. I think we talked about this already, but just really quickly, Thiago Santos fighting Ankalaev. Listen, the fight makes sense, I think, based on the rankings, Marcel, but I'll be honest with you, I feel like it's going to be a boring fight. Any thoughts, man?
I think Ankalaev pretty much missed 2 years of his career by losing to Paul Craig in the last second of his debut fight.
I still don't understand why he tapped out. I was so angry because I bet on him that night. I was just like, why did this guy – there was 1 second left. Like, why tap,
Maybe he didn't know. It's very loud in
I know.
In London. And the click, 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 10 seconds, you pretty much sometimes you don't hear that. But
I know.
Yeah, but 1 second, it's so sucky, If you saw his coach after that, like, dude – like 1 second. He's like,
fuck that thing about that card was that fight ended at the last second, and then that was the first time I think ever in a 3-round fight ended. And then later on, Leon Edwards beat Peter Sabata at the last second too, in the same card. So weird, eh?
Yeah. It's pretty much the same with Zabit against Brandon Davis and Aljamain Sterling with Stamen with that.
That crazy Sulov stretch in the same card, right? Yeah, that was crazy too. Yep. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, Ankalaev's gonna be favored, right? Like he'll be a decent favorite, I think, in this fight. Get these comments. Good for you, Glenn. Got some Paul Craig submission prop money. JFM says it makes a lot of sense, Marcel. Having 2 Russians, Brazilians, English, Aussie can backfire promotion right now because he did. Yeah, it's true. He is looking for. It does seem like he's looking for more like North American guys and trying. Like he even said when they signed a couple Canadians, he's like, oh, they're Canadian. Like, and I was like kind of surprised he said that, but. I think, there is something to that. Like, they are looking for not just Russian fighters, even though it seems like the Russian fighters are very good. To get signed to the UFC is about being a good fighter, have connections, being part of the world it wants to reach. That is true, too. And eventually they will go to, India more and sign fighters from that region of the world, I think.
Where's that Bharat Kandari dude?
I was going to say, that's the only guy, right? And he lost to Song Yadong, I think. So, I think, or Marlon Vera. I can't remember who it was. One of the two. No, it was Song Yadong. It was Song. Yeah, you choked him out. I want to say it was a front choke. Am I right about that?
Chinese guy, indeed. He fought a Chinese guy, but
that was him. Yep.
Okay.
Paul Craig loses H badly, wins H5 win.
It's true. You saw Paul Craig with his hair implement.
Yeah, I saw that. Strange. Very strange. We didn't talk about this fight. This is a good fight, man. Umar Nurmagomedov against Jack Shore. Now, some people are going to be like, why are they matching up two prospects? But again, this division is just so stacked. Like, they're going to have to start doing this. Like, these guys aren't even top 15. You know what I mean? Like, this division is so stacked, Marcel. Like, it's ridiculous, 135. This is a good fight, man. This is a good fight. I mean, Jack Shore's look good, but Umar might be the guy that beats him. I mean, this could be the guy that has it's stylistically a bad matchup for him. I got to look into it more, obviously, but Jack is a good fighter, but if he doesn't get the takedowns, Marcel, on the feet, I find him kind of limited, honestly. So, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, man, fun matchup. Also, shout out to Alex Bahunin by breaking this fight. It's a great
There you
fight.
go.
I mean, we saw Jack Shore so far in the UFC. The problem with Jack Shore is like he knows he wins, but it's not always really entertaining. But he wins. It was like against Ludwig Sholinian. It wasn't very entertaining, but he got the win, so good for him. Umar looked very good against Sergey Morozov, but he's not very active. In the UFC, that's a problem. I know there are some reasons for it. So. But he has looked good for what I saw. He also got a win in PFL against Said Yakub Rakhmonov, who had an amazing debut against Trevin Jones, earlier this year on like 4 days or 5 days notice. So, yeah, looking forward to this one. It's a good fight. It's a fun matchup between two prospects in the division. So, yeah, for sure.
There you go. All right. That's an old one now.
Yeah.
That's next week. We'll talk about this one next week. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they did that. This one next week too.
Also next week.
Cheyenne, well, we know the name change now. She apparently still has COVID. She's hoping to get, I think she's probably cleared by now, but she had COVID. So, and I was watching her interview with Junkie, and she was saying like how she had really bad lungs and how she was having problems like running and stuff. And this fight is in like a week. Like that does seem like a short turnaround from COVID. Like it seems like a bad case of it too. I'm not sure about that. I don't know why she had to like rush into it. But again, there's not many cards left, right? So if they want to fight, they have to do it now. This is a good fight too, man. And there was apparently some bad blood between these guys. They used to train at TriStar together. I don't know if you know anything about that, but
I know they train together, but I don't know.
Apparently they don't like each other. I don't know why either. But I mean, Nasrat is good. John McDessie is really underrated though, man. Like he's a guy that Marcel. We talked about when we fought Ignacio. We're like, he can when he's got to fight the perfect fight. And he did. You know what I mean? So. The guy's good. This is an interesting fight, man. Any thoughts on this one? I mean, just quick thoughts.
It's a good matchup, man. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum, my God. Nasrat Haqparast.
Really does look like him, eh? He
yeah.
Really does.
I think he's still an amazing prospect. He lost to Dan Hooker, but it's and we both picked him, I remember, to win that fight. So
yeah.
I would still think, man, that fly is annoying me here. I would still think he would do very well in this one. I think McDessie, he's tough, but got to be honest, I think his time is past, to be really honest.
I mean, I thought that against Ignacio and he beat him. And that's a good win, isn't it? It's a good, solid win, man. It really is.
True.
After that guy knocked out Roberts with that spinning wheel kick. JFM somewhat Yanez being the best primary prospect, but Jack and Umar would beat him. They might because they have the wrestling, right? That's the thing. But I just hope they keep giving Yanez strikers like Grant and stuff because it's a lot of fun to watch. You know what I mean? But eventually he's going to have to fight a wrestler. And we saw him in LFA struggle with like Miles Johns and those guys. So he might struggle, but I'm assuming he made the improvements. We've talked about these fights, I think. Did Cole break this fight? Damn right he did. I think we talked about it last week. I can't remember. But, I like the fight. I like both guys. I'll be honest. I like them both. I really like Puna, man. He disappointed me against Allen, but looking back now, that's just a hard matchup. Allen's really good. Nick is good too, though. He's a great wrestler. I just don't know if he can get Puna down on the feet. I don't think he has the same skills on the feet that Brendan Allen does, man. What are you gonna say?
Nick kind of faded, man, in the third round against Cody Brundage.
He did a little bit, yeah. I can't. I think he lost the third round. I should say.
Yeah.
Brundage is a good wrestler, but not a great fighter. I think Nick also took that fight in short notice, if I'm not mistaken.
Nick was supposed to fight Carl Roberson.
Oh, yeah. It was actually Brundage who took it. Yeah. Anyways, Marcel, honestly, I'd lean towards Puna. That'd be my lean right now. But I think Nick's a good fighter, too. It's just this looks like a hard fight to me. Hey, JPH, what's up? You asked about thoughts on Horiguchi and Pettis. Horiguchi priced at -185. Yeah, I saw that. That card is what? In the 4th, I think? December 3rd.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that one next week as well. But initial thoughts are, man, I think Pettis has looked really good in Bellator, man. I don't know if I want to get caught betting against him right now because the guy's been beating people I didn't think he would beat. I didn't think he'd beat Juan Archuleta. He looked really good in that fight, So That's a weird one, man. Honestly, because Horiguchi's solid, but I think he's been out for a while, right? Yeah, with that injury and stuff. So I still lean towards Horiguchi, though, man. I've always liked the guy, honestly, Marcel. I would have to lean his way a little bit. Any thoughts?
Same. By the way, I don't agree with the title shot, and many people are going to be upset about that I said that. But I think Stotts should have fought. But we all know both are teammates. But I still think, I had the feeling when Stotts won against Magomedov, he knew he was next for the title, and he was like, "Let's do a tournament." Now it's like, dude, you want to go through 3 or 4 more fights before you want to fight for a title? It's kind of weird,
Yeah.
Although it's your teammate, I know. But now it's getting Horiguchi's getting it. We all know he never lost the belt. He was injured. He vacated it. So I think it's okay. I still think Stotts deserves it, but I have no problem with it on the other hand that Horiguchi fighting. And I honestly think Horiguchi wins the fight. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, Pettis look good, but I'm just a big fan of Horiguchi, man. I feel like he's a hard guy to beat. You look at his record; it's always been good. Like in the UFC, he was one of the best guys. I really wish they didn't let him go. Honestly, they let him go at the time where I think they were kind of getting ready to cancel the division. Remember, and they kept it on. Is Armin Gregor on? I mean, I don't think anyone knows at this point.
No, nobody knows. I think.
Who'd you rather Makayev in his debut? Probably like not Davison, Francisco Figueiredo. Yeah. Like, given the worst guy in the division, or Malcolm Gordon, someone like that. Not trying to be a hater, but there's always someone who's the worst guy in the division. And I feel like the guy's only 20, so what?
Malcolm Gordon beat someone last time.
He beat Figueiredo. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, that's the guy that everyone calls out now. They're all like, I want to fight Davison's brother, like, because they know he can't wrestle. So I'm looking at the division right now.
Oh, you give the Arochi Lang guy.
You could do that one, or like
he's bad. At least he's not bad.
Give him somebody he could beat. Victor Rodriguez, 0-2. That guy is not very good. He probably beats him easily. Juan Camilo Ronderos, he beats him, I think, too.
I would do him.
Yeah, you would do that one. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. That guy, I think he's suspended for cocaine or something.
Yeah.
Like the guy had some fun, I guess, with Vegas before his last fight. I don't know why, but anyways, the guy knew he was fighting. Does a line of coke. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I'm looking around, like, there's a few other guys, like Zaruk Adashev, someone like that. He's beatable. Oh, he actually has a fight coming up. Clinton Rodriguez,
Yeah, that's
someone like that. Like, even Cody Durden might be too much of a wrestler at this point, but just someone beatable, Marcel, because the guy's only 20, I think, right? Isn't he 21?
He is. Yeah, he's the youngest. I think he's 20.
He's younger than Rong Zhu. He's the youngest guy in the league right now, the whole UFC. So. Yeah, like I said, like, just build him up slowly. Like, why rush the guy? You know what I mean, Marcel? When you're 21, you don't need to be rushed. Don't do the Sage North cut to this guy or the Page Van 4 weeks till the UFC card, longest time between events in May years, at least 7 years card. Yeah, I was looking at the schedule, man. So
I don't think they had the last 2 years.
No, they haven't been doing the New Year's card like the last few years. I don't think the last one they did was the Cyborg one, I think, against Nina. I think, just going off the top of my head. I know they did like Frankie Edgar fought Maynard on New Year's. That was a good one. Brock fought Overeem. Like, they've always had some big fights, and they started going away from that. I just think Dana White and the UFC, they're also like, they also have families, right? So it's hard because Dana's always on the road all year. This is like the few weeks of the year where he's like, all right, I'm going to spend time with my family. I think that's what's going on, guys. Just because like they need their staff to spend time with their family too. They just can't have them on the road 24/7. These guys are on the road all year. Like, I know people that work at the UFC, man. It's not an easy job, Marcel, because you're constantly going somewhere. You know what I mean? During COVID, not so much because it's mostly in Vegas, but normally, Marcel, they're going from Brazil to Canada to US to Asia, like, every week. So it's crazy. I am sad a bit that there's no fights for that month, but we'll figure out something. Anyways, any thoughts on that, Marcel?
I hate it, to be honest. I understand it, but I hate it. I mean, it's way too long, a month.
Yeah.
What can you say?
And it'd be the perfect time for Bellator to be doing events, right? Like, are they even like?
They're probably gonna start a week later or something.
Once the UFC starts back up, then Bellator does too. Yeah. Anyways,
they probably have that card in the forum or something in mid-January, as always.
That's funny. Let me see what else is out there. Give my boy Cole a shout out because he did some interviews with a couple guys for the card next week. Rob Font, Matt Brown, Louis Smoka, and Vince Morales. Gotta give Cole a shout out. It was interesting though because Louis Smoka said that him and Vince Morales, they're like kind of friendly with each other because Ricky Simone is Vince's cousin.
Yeah.
And he trains with Lewis, so they didn't want to fight each other. But the UFC's like, you have to fight. This is the fight we're booking for you guys. It's just kind of fucked, right? Like there's hundreds of guys. Like there's 100 guys in this division.
That's kind of stupid.
There's 100 guys in this division. Why force two guys that didn't want to fight to fight? Like now, I'm not expecting a good fight, honestly. Like I'm expecting kind of like a sparring match, probably two guys that don't want to hurt each other. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but usually when guys don't want to hurt, when they don't want to fight, they don't put on a good fight, Marcel. You know. So, but we'll see. I am looking forward to that fight next week with Rob Font and Aldo. Man, it's gonna be a good one. Just trying to see what all. This feels like it's kind of a slow week. You know what I mean? It feels like a bit of a slower week. Ali had followed Muhammad. He signed with Paradigm. Not surprising, man. Not surprising. Ali's a petty guy, as we know, right? So, anything else, Marcel? Like, what else is going on? Anything you can tell us? Any hints? Anything?
I have nothing, man. I didn't even have that Brandon Allen Curtis fight last night until late. Somebody said it to me. Went after it. Got 3 sources on it.
Oh, really? Wow. Look at you, eh? 3 sources. And look at this guy. He's going above and beyond after the whole Paddy Pimlott incident. Have you talked to any of those guys yet? Or Paddy, has he messaged you since then or no?
No, not at all, man. And I tried to reach out to Boylan, but I via another guy, but I never heard back. So I honestly don't care.
You don't care, yeah. And it's just so wrong. These guys want to charge the journalists money to interview them now.
Good luck with that.
Good luck, guys. Like the journalists in the sport are dead broke. I'll tell you that right now. Like there's a few guys that make good money, but let's be honest, most of them aren't making much money. They're not going to pay you to interview them. Let's be honest.
And then I watched like Ashley Evans Smith podcast, and she is commenting on the Graham Boylan's Instagram, like, yeah, good job. It's like
people are idiots. They don't understand how it works.
But I'm like, she has a podcast herself with interviews with fighters. Like, would you like to pay the fighters who are coming on your podcast money? I mean, I don't think you want, you know.
No. I wouldn't. That's really strange. Anyways, yeah, just like I said, it doesn't seem like there's a ton going on here, Marcel, right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if people have questions, ask them. You know?
Throw a question in, guys, if you want, but we'll take it right now. It feels like it's just one of those slower weeks, I guess you could say, you know, but that's expected with no fights. Yeah. The Zavlov to remind me of Kennedy Volkanovski, 2 promising prospects going off. I guess so, like a little bit, yeah. I never thought Kennedy was as good as a lot of people thought. You know, I know he's Canadian and everything. I just never really thought he was like a complete fighter. But I think it does kind of remind me of a little bit. Any thoughts, Marcel?
I picked Kennedy back then in that fight, I remember. So
I think I did too, to be honest with you. I think because at that point, I mean, it's easy to go back and be like, oh, everyone knew Volkanovski was going to be good. Guys, at that point, most people were picking against Volkanovski in his fights. Like, I remember when he fought Chad Mendes, who was the underdog, and people thought it was crazy for picking Volkanovski that night. I was like, I think he can finish Mendes. I'm like, no, he can't. He gets dropped and then he finished him, but guy's good. Oh man, no problem, dude. We appreciate you listening and stuff, man. For sure. You know, if you can't, like I said, if you can't watch it live, we prefer obviously people here live because you can ask questions. But if you can't, you know, the replay's there. It's always there. So I appreciate that, man. Thanks so much. Oh, we didn't talk about this Fury FC card. So Von Adams lost. He lost to Austin Lane. I think that's the guy that Greg Hardy beat, right? And that's crazy. He was a big favorite. He was minus 1,200 and lost. And then the other guy was plus 600, Austin Lane. Any thoughts on that, Marcel? It's a big upset, right?
It is, man, and maybe it's a good way for Austin Lane to get back to the UFC Contender Series or to Ultimate Fight or whatever, you know.
Yeah, because they always need heavyweights, right? They always do. So
it sucks for Juan, you know. Juan is a good dude, but yeah.
Austin Lane 10-3 now. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He's on a 4-fight win streak, all 4 wins by knockout. You know, Marcel, I think he'll probably be in the UFC very soon. Honestly, they need heavyweights. He's not a great fighter, as we saw him get knocked out a couple times, but. You know, the Fury FC promotion, man, it just feels like it's like the new feeder league. Do you think Anthony Romero gets signed?
I don't know, man. I think they had a chance earlier. Maybe they will do now, but you never know.
It's not that exciting, though, eh? That's the problem,
thing is, who we think will get signed normally never get signed. You know what I mean? And they pick somebody we totally don't expect. So I have no idea, my man.
No, it's true. I know. I'm just looking at the card and see if there's anyone that like stood out. Let's see here. Yeah, well, I mean, Lane would be the guy, right? It would be Lane. So 4th round stoppage. I mean, that's kind of special for a heavyweight. I'm looking at Juan Adams' record since he left the UFC. Oh, that was his first loss since leaving the UFC. Wow. So he had been 3-0 with 3 knockouts all this year. including a knockover Richard Odoms, the guy who was supposed to be in the UFC years ago, Marcel. That guy never signed, remember?
He's the LFA champion.
He was, yeah. What's his name? The Black Eagle, I think. Yeah, the Black Eagle. Is his name. Yeah, he was supposed to be in the UFC years ago, and I don't know what happened. Like, it just didn't work out for some reason. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at his record. He was supposed to fight Ruslan Magomedov in 2014, and Ruslan Magomedov also. Has he ever fought since he got suspended? Oh, he's back now. Okay, he's back. Okay, yeah. That guy was good, man. He was good. But you can't beat USADA that you can't fight in the UFC, right, Marcel? Like, you got to be able to pass your drug test. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for that. Let me just go to some other questions. Yeah, I love this fight too, man. Kaladov and Soldic. I think there's odds up for that. Let me double check, but I think there is. It is. Minus 225 for Soldic and plus 163 for Kaladov. I think most of us will favor Roberto right now, just based on the age, really. And Kaladov's getting up there, right? So
yeah, for sure. That's it.
I think he's 40, right? 41. So
he's one of those guys who should have been in the UFC years ago.
Oh yeah, again, we were talking about this, I think last week. Dude, I remember when I was in college and I watched this fight with Jorge Santiago and Sengu. I remember being in college watching that fight. That was a long time ago, So
imagine Dana calling Mamet Khalidov or his management. He's like, "Hey guys, I got a spot for you on the next card. Mamet Khalidov, he can fight 10 plus 10K. He can fight." And it's like, no, we're not going to do that for 10.
That's funny. And it's crazy. He's coming off that not going over Scott Askham, which was a good win, right? So
yeah, man.
But Soldic is kind of next level. And I think if Soldic wins, if there's a way to get him out of the KSW into the UFC, they'll sign him, I think, if he has an out clause in his deal. But I don't know if they do. Hey, Max, what's up, man? The fake Max. That's cool. Look at that picture. Max Al-Kukui Holloway. I like it. Look at the little – yeah, that's cool. Did you guys over Pichon Omats? No, we haven't. I think we might have mentioned it. I like the fight. I do think it's a good fight. I think the winner probably should get a top 15 opponent, I would guess. So you feel the same way, kind of?
Yeah, man. I think Madsen has still the height with him, that he's undefeated Olympian guy. And Pichel is kind of an underrated guy. If you look at this record in the UFC and we beat, it's pretty impressive, So,
he is. He's solid, man. He always puts on a good fight. Do you think Meek Maynard is biased towards Tubesa? I'm not sure. I just think they like him because he shows up to fight. He puts on a good fight, and the crowd loves him. So I mean, I don't really
combination of many factors.
I know what you're saying in that I think he's unranked. He's getting the number 10 guy, Sakai, but Sakai really isn't that good anyways. Like, he's kind of a pretender at number 10 if you ask me. So I'm fine with the fight.
If you have an unranked guy who has been in the rankings before and he's now fighting a ranked guy, and we all like, Tuivasa might be a favorite. It might be a justified fight. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Any update on Harrison Blagoy? You know anything? No.
No, I saw. I posted on Twitter, man. I was searching for Christmas gift for my dad from Formula One book, and the author was Blagoy Ivanov. So I was like, he got a new job. That's probably another Blagoy Ivanov. So.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm just looking at some upcoming fights. Some good fights coming up, guys. But we'll talk about those next week. I think that's going to be it for today's show, unless anyone else has a last second question. You got something?
Jeff M. asked Paddy Pimlott versus Jim Miller next. I would prefer...
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that question. Sorry.
Paddy Pimlott against Guram Kutatelats would be much more fun, I think.
Paddy...
But they don't do that.
I obviously... he had the good... It was a good UFC debut. I mean, he, obviously got rocked, as Bisping told him. He goes, you almost got knocked out, but he finished him. They're going to take the slow build, I think, with him. I'm looking at the rankings. You want to know, he's one of the only guys with 1-0 record UFC in the division. I don't know, Marcel. Honestly, I'm not sure what they're going to do with this guy.
Probably going to give him like a Michael Johnson kind of fight. Jeremy Stevens.
I think they'll give him someone beatable too. Jai Herbert, that would be a fight he could win. A guy's been knocked out a couple times. Another Brit. They could do that fight, Marcel. I'm looking at it around here. How about this one? Rodrigo Vargas, a guy who's not very good. They could do that.
Devonta Smith.
It's kind of risky because you can knock him out.
That's a tricky fight, dude.
It's risky. Yeah, I just feel like they're going to give him someone that's not very dangerous, honestly, man. And again, its division is good, but Luigi the Vedrine is a decent fighter, not great. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. But I feel like they're going to do a slow build with the guy. That's all I'll say. I think they'll do a slow build with him. I agree with you guys. Guram is really good, and I don't know what's going on with this guy. Katateladze, Marcel. Any thoughts? You heard anything or no?
No, I have no idea what's happening. I mean, he was supposed to fight Don Match, right? But I think
Yeah.
I don't know
It's
what.
so weird how Don Madge didn't fight in the UFC and then he was in PFL. I thought it
Yeah,
was so
it's
weird. I
super
don't know what
weird.
the hell
Super
happened
weird.
there. I don't get it. And
Me
his
neither.
last fight he looked good. He got the finish, right? So
Mhm.
it's a shame, man. Why is Dana not booking Kansas at Magny? They want to do Burns, I think, in February, right? Is that their plan now?
That's what everybody's reporting January, but it's probably going to be February. Yeah.
Why was Burns calling Magny? He says Kansas doesn't make sense ranking wise. Says he declined to fight. Well, who declined to fight with Luke? If it was Burns, they're best friends. Who did?
Both.
Burns.
Luke declined to fight with Burns, and Burns declined to fight with Luke.
Oh, they're best friends, aren't they? They're not going to fight each other.
Yeah, I did hear the UFC offered that fight to
Really?
them. And both said no, we don't. And then the UFC is like, that's the fight we want. And they say no, we both don't want that. We are like brothers. We're not going to fight each other.
Yeah, they're not going to fight each other unless it's for the belt, right? They would for the belt.
Also not.
Really? Wow, that's kind of dumb in my opinion, because at some point you got to be a little bit selfish. You know what I mean? If it's for the belt, I think you got to be a little bit selfish, because ultimately, you know, Vicente's putting food in his table for his family, and Gilbert's putting food in his table for his family.
I honestly feel if one of the two gets the belt, the other guy will go to another division. That's what I think.
Very possible, man. I mean, Burns, he obviously fought 155. Anyways, they're both really good. Well, there you go. I didn't know that, but it makes sense. I just don't see them fighting each other. I don't know, Marcel. I think that's going to be it for today. I mean, there's not a ton out there right now. I think we got most of the news covered in the fight announcements. So if there's anything else you want to mention, we can. But if not, just plug your stuff and we'll get out of here.
Nothing on the top of my head. I think there's only like that one championship tape delay card on Friday, and the Ryzen on Sunday morning, which for you is that Saturday night, I think. Yeah, Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, still the same. MMADNA.nl, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. That's all.
There you go. So follow me on Twitter, guys, at MMadomMartin, podcast, MMAOBDailyPodcast.com. It's on YouTube, iTunes. It's on Spotify, all those places, guys, where you can find your podcasts. I'm also at BJPay.com, MiamiNews.com, Elite Fantasy, Elite Sports Betting, bookies. So a lot of places here. Be back next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about whatever happened over the week. I'm sure that someone will get arrested or some fight will get canceled or something. We'll have something to talk about next week, Marcel. But looking forward to that. And then next Tuesday, it'd be the UFC fight. There's UFC Vegas 44 Font Aldo preview. So that's for next week. But yeah, that's it for this week, guys. Really appreciate everyone joining in. I'm going to get this last question. Yeah, we're going to say, I'll get the last question here.
It sucks so much when it's UFC Vegas 44. You really have to keep track.
I'm like fight night.
UFC this, UFC Cincinnati, UFC whatever.
I know. I used to like that better. But anyways, Darius really good. He's really good. I mean, I think we all could say
he deserves a spot there, man. When he beat Tony, you know.
I'm not sure if Tony's on the last fight of his deal. Just to answer that last question, I don't know. But I know if he loses, he'll get cut, obviously. So look, give him one more. He better win. No problem, man. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll be back on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend, guys. Peace.